Well, hello everybody. I finally figured out one way to go live with a pre-scheduled stream on the new version of OBS. I want to say hi to Mystery Snail Guardians that was here at 5:40, Diego that came in at 5:45 and is still present. And then we had Dan Slee come in at 5:56, and Ed's picking up cichlids at 5:56. And I am so glad that you all are here with us tonight. I have had a couple days of some crazy things going on in my fish room. I've been having a problem in the 20-gallon aquarium ever since I set it up with 2 inches of black sandblasting sand because I had 5 adult yo-yo loaches along with some cold guppies. I did plant the aquarium with stem plants and anubias and java ferns and cryptocorns, and oh, I've had floating plants, I've had duckweed, I've had frogbit, I've had um, hornswort. I've had all kinds of things going on, but that tank constantly has a brown mulm in it that I have to vacuum out. It clogs up my hang on the back filter, and the sponge filter gets clogged up really fast. It's one of the aquarium co-op's medium sized sponge filters. And please tell me if y'all are hearing me okay and seeing me okay. I'm going to close my stream at you. Let's see. Let's pop out the chat first. And then I can close that so I'm not distracted. I'm going to close that. And let's go ahead and close that too. There we go. I've got a chat on my screen now that comes with OBS. I want to say this is, let me see what version this is. This is OBS 27.1.3, 64-bit. And it now is almost a studio within a studio. It's always been a studio broadcasting software, but now it has features where you can, I don't have to go to YouTube. I just have to give it permission to connect my account with it, and it will, it has a managed broadcast. Um, it has a chat box that comes open. I can see the chat, but I can't type in the chat. And that's why I popped out my YouTube chat. So one day I'll do a tutorial on this when I learn a little bit more. If you follow StreamYards on Facebook, I was actually a guest in their stream a couple nights ago, a couple days ago. I think it was Saturday. And they went to my YouTube channel, they critiqued it, they answered my question that I had about broadcasting StreamYards inside of OBS and etc. So I don't know if they have it where you can view it on YouTube or not. But I want to say hi to Captain Savage Aquatics, who is Brian, old time Fish Fam community member. Muppet 929, hi, how are you doing? Welcome to the live stream. And looky here, my special guest is Big Tank Hank in the chat. How you doing? Um, Everybody, okay. Diego says audio and videos all good. Thank you. And don't forget, mods, y'all can grab different people's YouTube channel links and post them in the chat. Feel free to do so. We're going to have a little picture slideshow here so I can describe some of the things that actually went on in my fish room this week, just the last couple days. I've had some crazy die off, and I don't know what happened, but the air supply stopped flowing through the sponge um, in the 20-gallon where the yo-yo loaches were. My big girl, who was about 6 inches long, and she was about 2.5 inches high, and her girth was probably a 1.5 inches in girth. She passed away. Well, welcome, Brian. Welcome to Susan for SLC Aquatics YouTube channel. You have joined the juvenile level. Awesome and welcome. Thank you so much. Sometimes there's perks and sometimes there's not. So hang in there. Something will be coming your way as a special member of the channel. I do have some members only videos up, and they are listed on my channel. And if you want to view them, you do have to be a current member. So I'm going to do a little slideshow. The big yo-yo loach passed away, and that caused a big ammonia spike in the aquarium. And with no oxygen circulating, all of the other yo-yos were at the top, and they were gasping for air. The guppies weren't really stressed that much. They learned to live in yucky conditions. So anyway, I did an emergency water change. That was the stinkiest water. I had to put gloves on because of all of the slime, and oh, it was horrible. And I wasn't aware that it could happen that fast, but it did. And so anyway, I don't have pictures exactly of that event when it happened, but um, on my Facebook page and in my SLC Aquatics Club on Facebook, there are videos of the yo-yo loaches swimming around in the rescue tank with the platies. Thank you, Muppet. Yep, it happens sometimes. And I still don't know what happened to the water flow, oxygen flow through the sponge filter. The sponge filter could have become clogged, but the air was not coming through the air hose anymore. So I had to work with the gang on that for a while to try to get the air to flow in the 55 and in the 20. So without further delay, I will go ahead and let's look at the slideshow. Y'all still have my audio? Good. This is the 55. I just took some random pictures. It's overgrown with water wisteria and Amazon swords. Here is the 20 after I've done, I don't know, 4 water changes. Everybody's back home. This is my 15-gallon shellies and guppies and some mystery snails. And this is some of the cull guppies that's in the 20-gallon with the yo-yos. And I was looking at the males tonight, and they are quite interesting with those metal heads and copper patterns on their bodies. And they're mixed with mosaics and what was it, the blue-green Moscows. This is probably, I don't know, generation 25 or 30. And this is the 10-gallon with some corridoras, and it did have the swordtail endlers in it, but I sold all of them. This is the 25 with my guppies and plecos and corridora and snails in it. I did lose my cherry shrimp, so or I haven't seen them in a while. This is the 20 long that I also have set back up the last, 2 or 3 weeks. Has guppies in it and corridor. Here's the rescue tank. And right now it just has the platies and snails in it, but it did have the yo-yos. And I didn't pull up the video from Facebook. And this is the 29 that has the albino plecos in it. And it's just looping back around right now. Jay Oliver's Guppies and Aquatics, welcome to the stream tonight. How are you doing? I hope everyone's doing well. Hey, T-Bones, Fishies. Good day, Susan. Good day, mate. Wanted to let everybody know that I did lose the largest yo-yo loach, but that, you've smelt. I don't know if you've ever kept mystery snails, but if you have ever smelt a dead mystery snail, that can pretty much gag you and make you run out of the house. Well, I had been starting to smell something in the fish room, and you go from tank to tank, and nothing really smells bad, and or to me it didn't. I couldn't figure it out, and also, what was it? It had to have been yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, because I didn't want the guppies um to stay in the bucket overnight because I had a lot of loss one time doing that. And hey, Paul McCarthy, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. And so it was yesterday that I spent several hours in the fish room. I had to fish out a couple dead guppies and my dead yo-yo, and the other yo-yos were easy to catch because they were at the top gasping for oxygen. So I was able to net them easily and put them in the rescue tank with the platies. So and then I started catching guppies, and I put them in a couple gallons of some fresh dechlorinated water that I had in a bucket already. Looks like I'm having some buffering. Um, Hopefully it'll catch up with itself. Um, Probably have a lot going. I'll pause for a few minutes. It is cycling right now, so I apologize for any technical difficulties that you may be having on your end. Dead mystery snail is worse than dead fish smell. Yes, it is, but it was still just as bad. It was hard to just keep working through it, and I used pumps to try to pump the water faster, and the pump that I had wasn't strong enough to pump it any faster, so I had to just deal with the smell, and I just dumped the 5-gallon buckets into the toilet and flushed the toilets and went at it again to refill the next one. And I did use my Python, and right now I have my nets soaking in some chlorinated water, lightly dosed with chlorine to disinfect them. But anyway, it took me a couple hours and about 4 or 5 water changes, stirring up the surface of the black sandblasting sand. I didn't go deep into the substrate. I was able to get the hang on the back filter running again. I had to clean it out. And matter of fact, in a day or two, I'll have to rinse that filter media out again and probably refresh it with some fresh um, floss. Can a dead mystery snail spike your ammonia? Oh, yes, it can. And if the now I have had fish in the aquarium eat a dead snail so fast that it didn't cause any issues in the aquarium. I just find empty snail shells sometimes. So it can, depending on the age of your aquarium, your beneficial bacteria and other fish stock that you may have in that aquarium. It can spike the ammonia. Anything dying can spike the ammonia, but if you have the beneficial bacteria to take care of it, there shouldn't be any loss of fish life and no ammonia burns within the species or the stock that you have in that aquarium. So that's a very good question. And I welcome anybody else's input into in the chat. So I took care of that, and I was able to reintroduce the guppies overnight. I put them in there. The heater, I waited till the heater got the water to about 73 degrees, and then I introduced the guppies, the cold guppies, back into that aquarium. They loved it. They were happy little campers. Thank you for dropping my links, Diego, on my merch. You just got to get some Susan for SLC Aquatics merch in your hobby room. Yes, you do. And uh, this afternoon, I was able to catch the yo-yos. Two of the yo-yos were in a cave. They were easy to get out. The other two, it took me maybe a half hour catching them because they were feeling better. They were energetic. They were all over that 10-gallon aquarium. And the poor platies, they didn't know what to do. But after I caught the yo-yos and I put them back into their 20, they actually began to spawn. So we'll see what happens in the next few weeks. Right now, everybody is happy in the 20-gallon, and they're glad to be back home. I did a 40% water change in the 10-gallon aquarium where the platies were, just to get any maybe sloughing off that the yo-yos could have done from their former aquarium. And it's just a good idea when you overstock a small aquarium, just do a small water change. So everybody in there right now, the platies are doing fine. I do plan to put the platies in one of my other aquariums, but I haven't decided where to put them yet. The 55 has never looked like that in all of its life. I am pleasantly pleased for all of the plants. So right now I could sell some water wisteria and ship it, and I could harvest some more Amazon swords. I need to actually go in and lower the water level and do some major trimming of that Amazon sword. I've read a couple articles and watched a couple videos that shows how to actually go in and thin out the plant. Of course, I had like 6 or 8 runners, and it bloomed. Oh, it was the best experience I ever had in keeping live plants in my aquariums. I have used Aquatop sponge filters and I have no issues with them. I sell, recommend, and use Aquatop products. Yes, please visit petsonics.com/store. Anyway, if you click on that link and bookmark it, you can go back later. I've used some of his Aquatop's sponge filters. Matter of fact, a lot of my tanks have one in it. I have only bought one aquarium co-op, medium size, and take advantage of the Halloween 31 promo code for 31% off your entire order. That's great. Thank you. And Pet Sonics is one of my sponsors. So if you would help support him right now, I would be very appreciative. So that's what happened in the fish room. Of course, Monday morning I got up and did a probably a 20% water change in that 20 long, because the evening before a couple males were sitting on the bottom, and I think a week prior to that I had picked up one male juvenile and one juvenile female that had passed away, and I got them out and I did a small 10% water change. That aquarium is still cycling, and so right now it's showing a trace of nitrates, but I keep watching it for ammonia because the colony of guppies that's in that aquarium is quite large. And then I also added a breeding trio of the peppered corridoras, the Corridora paleatus. Take advantage to see. And let me know Susan sent you. Oh, great. Yeah, make a note and tell him that I sent you. Thank you so much, Diego. We work together, and also over at Everything Aquatics for any fish food or fish meds that you may have need of. I think she had a sale up to the 17th of October on the Rapashi, so that sale is over. Let's see, what else can we talk about? Hey, sweetheart. Did the food come? Okay. Excuse me, guys. Sorry for asking personal questions while I'm live. I wanted to discuss. Let me see, how can I do this? I wanted to discuss who all is going to Aquashella, Dallas, and make sure that my audio is still there. And I think I can add a video capture device. Yeah, I'll shrink myself. Here we go. That way you can still see me. And let me, there we go. That looks better over here. Here I am. So you can still see me while we're talking about it. Who all's going to Aquashella, Dallas? And they're calling it Aquashelloween, October the 30th and 31st, 2021. You can buy your tickets here and reserve a room and stay connected. So let's scroll on down. Here's where you can buy your tickets, hotel, and directions, vendors, schedule, and attractions. Let's look at the schedule. The schedule for Saturday. Okay, VIP entry at 10 a.m. Early bird entry at 11 a.m. General entry at 1 p.m. and the show closes at 7 p.m. And don't forget your VIP YouTuber meet and greet at 10 a.m. And on Facebook, Rob at Flip Aquatics has a form for you to fill out. So go over there, and I do believe it's called Fish Tubers Unite or something like that. Look for that group, or go over and look for Flip Aquatics, and I'm sure that link to that document will be there for you to fill out. And the fish booth, 45 minutes, VIP only. They have a speaker at 11 a.m. Fan Thing, Coral Farmer, author, and Tidal Gardens. And Jake Adams, who is a reef keeper also and an author. And at 12 noon, and at 1 p.m., our sweet Taylor from Simply Bettas. Simply Betta. She's at 1 p.m. And Freshwater Scape Off between Mike and DIY Joey. Pros, and versus King of DIY, Freshwater Scape Off. That's going to be a good one. Speaker Sanjay Joshi, Reef Keeper, Educator, and Content Creator at 3 p.m. And a frag off between Brandon Hooton, Evie Williams, and Frank Garner at 4 p.m. Keynote speaker is Joey Mullen, the King of DIY at 5 p.m. And then they have charity raffle benefiting 1,000 mermaids, Aquashella main stage at 6 p.m. So there's all kinds of great things happening at Aquashella Dallas. I'm not going to get to go, but one day you will probably see the Fish Fam Mom at one of these events. T-Bone says, I can't seem to keep plants alive in only one of my tanks. Not sure why. My parameters are fine. 0 ppm ammonia, 0 ppm nitrite, 20 ppm nitrates. They also need other nutrients like potassium, phosphate, magnesium, and iron for some of your red plants like the Luigia and the I think some of your cryptocorns may need a little iron. If you have plants thriving in one of your aquariums, I would definitely look at the substrate, look at how deep it is. I would look at the species that you have in that aquarium. How much are you feeding that aquarium? Are you doing any CO2 or liquid ferts or root tabs or anything like that in that aquarium? The only thing that I find in my aquariums where my plants thrive the most, because I do have one aquarium that the plants are not thriving too well. Every time I put a stem plant in, it gets uprooted by the Corydoras and the Plecos. And it has 2 inches of pool filter sand in it. And I always run one sponge filter in the corner, and the hang on the back that I use is it's I forget how to say it. It's less than what the aquarium calls for. Like right now, it's a 25-gallon aquarium, and I might have I think marine land penguin that would suit like a 10 or 15-gallon aquarium. So the less water flow that you have in some of your aquariums, especially for stem and root feeders, they actually need the detritus, they need the decaying food that collects around the bottom of a plant. Make sure you're not keeping your aquariums too clean. Sometimes we can keep our substrate so clean that the plants that are in there don't have the nutrients to thrive. They'll just melt. So, depending on your water, what minerals you have in your water, I don't use any CO2. I just sometimes overfeed. Sometimes my hang on the back filters get clogged with duckweed, so that decreases the water flow. I have a sponge filter in the right hand corner where that humongous Amazon sword is growing, and it has grown like that over the last year and a half. Hello, Cooper Cichlids. Welcome to the live stream. Good to have you in the chat with us tonight. So that's about all I can say right now, T-Bones, unless you have some more information for me. Did I hit on anything that triggered something that might be off? My nitrates usually run very high, 80 to 120 sometimes. And the 55, that where all of those plants are thriving, is actually below 7.0. Sometimes it reads 6.0 on the pH. For some reason, that aquarium will not stay alkaline. And it could be the very bottom of the substrate was some black sand that I bought with the aquarium. I didn't change it out. So I don't know what kind of black sand it is. I don't use fertilizers for the plants. And if you see my tank on YouTube, on my channel, you would see the tank with the plants. It's my Tetra tank. Okay, I will check that out, T-Bones, and leave you a comment on that aquarium. So your Tetras are doing really well. So can you think about whether you're keeping the other tanks too clean? Is the species of fish in the other tanks the kind that would eat plants? Your substrates, I use EcoComplete. I also have gravel that are capped with 2 inches of some kind of sand, either play filter sand. Now the 25 that has the 2 inches of pool filter sand in it is always those plants are always being uprooted by the plecos and the corydoras, and the plants melt. Now I do have some dwarf hair grass, and some Java ferns, and I've recently planted some Amazon swords in there, but they usually end up floating at the top. Your pH is 7 and 7.5. What about the temperature? What is the temperature in your aquarium? Sometimes plants don't like anything over, say, 84 degrees. Some of my plants melt back. Anubias does well in cool water, and that's, to me, cool water is around 68, 70 degrees, all the way up to 80 degrees. Anubias does well even in some of my tanks that go over 80 sometimes, and I don't like my tanks to go over 80 too much. I have angels that would love that, but then in the angel tank I also have a flash pleco, and the flash pleco doesn't like that heat. So I have that aquarium right about 78 right now. And then the other angel tank with albino plecos, it was staying over 82, and the angels didn't look too happy. So I think right now I have the heater unplugged, because the rest of the room stays about 77, 78 degrees. So temperature, how much are you feeding? Are the species in the aquarium maybe eating the plants? You don't have enough nutrients in your substrate for any root feeders and stem plants. Anubias and Java ferns, anything with a rhizome, will take nutrients out of the water column. So you need the 20 ppm nitrate should be feeding them, as long as as long as there's not floaters that are maybe absorbing all of the nutrients, and then your root feeders and your stem plants are not getting the nutrients that they need. Okay, any other questions, anybody? So far, 24 hours after the death episode in that 20-gallon, today I've been working in the office here on a 10-gallon and working on a noisy air pump, trying to get the diaphragm adjusted to where it won't be rattling, but I had to unplug it for the broadcast because I think you still would have heard it through my headphones. um, what else? I wanted to share. Let me see. I think I closed it. I did. No? Yeah, I did. I wanted to share my website. I'm going to move myself around a little bit. Put me over here. I keep getting smaller and smaller. That's where I had the Aquashella at. I wanted to remind you all that on the website, slc-aquatics.org, there's a blog section that you would love to go to and read these articles. I want to say hi to Glitch Aquatics. Hey all, just coming in from Rika Stan's Live. Thank you so much. I'm glad that Rika Stan sent you all over here. Welcome to the live stream. And I'm Susan for SLC Aquatics. This is my website that I'm sharing. My website is not a store. It does have a merchandise link to a couple of my stores, but this is the blog section, and I've tried to publish a community newsletter every 2 months. And every article that's ever appeared in the newsletters are published here at the time that the newsletters go live. Excuse me. I want to say hi to Anna's Hobbies. Everybody, give your love for love. Check out everybody's channel, write it down, visit them later. You know what love for love stands for. Some people call them pineapples. Some people call them check valves, whatever. Thank you, Diego. But I say show love for love on people's channels. And don't forget to watch some of their content. Click the like, share it out, and leave comments sometimes. And do the same for me as well. Thank you. The blog section are the articles that have been published in the hashtag FishFam community newsletter. If you would like to receive a copy of the newsletter, it comes in an email format. So you would scroll to the bottom of the blog page and it says join our newsletter. Stay informed with a quarterly newsletter. Well, I do need to correct that. It is usually a bi-monthly newsletter. You'd put your name here, first and last name, YouTube channel name, I don't care. But the email that you put in here is the email where the newsletter will be sent to. And when you select subscribe now, you'll have options to opt out of emails and stuff like that. So I encourage you to not opt out from the emails because you won't get the newsletter. So corals, I tried to have, I wrote this one, saltwater and freshwater, brackish water, and sometimes this article here came in my local water newsletter that we get, our water company. and it was talking about crayfish population and the importance of crayfish in our natural waterways. Um, Start of Guppies by Scott Burden. Brock Birch, Keeping Saltwater Caradina Shrimp. And our own Holly Gibbs, of Freak, was Freaky Fish Lady or something like that. She did an article on Magical Koi Creek. So there's all kinds of things. November is coming up, and I would love to be able to put out another newsletter, but I need some articles. And I know Scott's Aquatics said that he would, or Skulls Aquatics said that he would be interested in writing an article. And Dan Slee, if you wanted to submit some more of your beautiful photography, select some and please shoot me an email. My email's on the screen right here, score48@yahoo.com. You can write a short story about your fish hobby, what fish you keep, how you got started, why you keep the fish that you keep, um, how was your maintenance schedule, and what kind of foods do you like to feed your fish, those type of things. Write short stories. T-Bone says, my other tank is a tiger barb tank with gravel and sand substrate. My Tetra tank has black diamond sand. The temperature is 26.5 Celsius or around 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I only feed my fish 4 days a week. Okay. Um, getting to understand a little bit. I'm not sure if tiger barbs are known for eating plants or not. It seems like they can get a little nippy, but I don't know if they get nippy on the plants as well. Gravel and sand substrate. If your gravel underneath the sand is what we call dirty, then your stem and root plants should take off, reaching down through the sand to go towards any nutrients that would be in that gravel pockets. Um, 80 degrees would be probably the max of what you want to keep live plants in. I know some plants, um, I'm not very knowledgeable about a lot of plants. I'm still learning plants, but I found out that my cryptocorns, once I move them, they don't like to be moved. I'll see if I can come up with something, Susan. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. Any of y'all want to write an article? Cooper cichlids, write about cichlids. Come on, let's give me an article. T-Bone, write about what we're talking about tonight and send me a little short story about why you're having problems growing plants in other aquariums, and share that information with people so that we can put out a nice newsletter this November, December. I will be advertising again the Fish Fam, uh, Merry Fishmas, and the Ricastan Fish Fam Christmas. I think November the 1st is when registration for the what are they calling it? I know I have pictures. Um, let's see. You know, the Merry Merry Fishmas. As you know, I wasn't prepared, but it's where you buy a gift and draw somebody's name, and they draw a name and buy you a gift. I forget what it's called. Y'all have to help me out. And then Rika Stan's going to be one of the Santa Clauses that are visiting live streams and giving away gifts during the live stream, and then he's going to disappear and go to another live stream. Um, you can look for uh, their informational videos. I have one on my playlist and also on the Aquatic Morning Show and on Rika Stan's channel. You'll be able, and I think on Rocco's Aquariums. Where can we find that site? Sorry, Glitch Aquatics. Which site are you asking about? Hey, all, just let's see. Let me see. I will type it in chat, sweetheart, for my website. There it is in the chat. She was looking for your website. I linked it for her. Thanks, Dan. I'm slow because I got caught up with the Fish Fam Christmas, and I know there's a name for it, and it just slips me right now. Um, let's see. Going through chat. Thank God it's not bouncing on me. I don't know how many's here tonight. Oh, that's another thing that OBS needs to do. I'm sure there's a patch. Oh, Vinosky Tanks is in the house. Hey, Vinosky, how are you doing, sweetheart? And Anna says, I am big on silk plants. I tried real plants and failed miserably. After 3 years, I gave up. My silk plants look beautiful most of the time. That's right. I started with plastic and silk plants, and some of the prettiest purple that I have are silk. And but I don't have them in my aquariums right now. Took them all out. Um, she added it to our bookmarks. All right, Glitch Aquatics, thank you, and I hope you get to go through the website later. Secret Santa, thank you, Anna. Thank you, Anna's Hobbies. I appreciate it. Oh, White Elephant Gift Exchange or something like that. Thanks, Dan. T-Bone says the tiger barbs leave the plants alone and they don't pick at them. Okay, what kind of plants do you have in there with the barbs uh, that you say you're having problems with? Secret Santa, thank you, Diego. Um, and I appreciate it, Dan. Vanaski's saying hi. 10 watching now. Okay. T-Bone's Fishes. I have to do water changes today. I do them every 2 weeks. Okay. How much do you do? Do you do 10%, 20%, 50%? Some people do larger amounts of water change. When I haven't gotten to my aquariums in a long time, and I mean like 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes my first water change might be a 50% water change, but depends on the species because the species is real particular with pH swings. You can tell that they're not enjoying that large of a water change. Patty's Petite Tanks is in the house. Hey, Patty, good to have you. And thank you for the update on the likes and 10 watching. All right. We discussed the problem that I had, the death that I had in my 20-gallon tank, how I had to rescue the fish out, had to clean out the dead fish, had to clean the substrate, which is gravel, I think 1.5 inches of gravel and 2 inches of black sandblasting sand, and had to rescue the yo-yos. I lost a yo-yo and lost a couple guppies. Apparently White Elephant is similar but not the same rules. Oh, thank you, Dan. Oh, So we've discussed Aquashelloween, October the 30th and the 31st uh, in Dallas this month. And those that are going, go to Facebook, look up Flip Aquatics, or look up the Fish Tubers Unite or something group, and look for the form to fill out to register so that you can get VIP in on Saturday, uh, I think 10 o'clock. VIP only for 45 minutes. The rest of the public have to wait till 1 p.m. General public. 25% water change every 2 weeks. Sounds good, T-Bones. The only thing I would say that you're having problems in those other tanks would be add some root tabs in your sand with some stem plants, and watch your water flow. Make sure it's not pouring right down on the plant. The plants need to get established, and you know, if there's a couple areas in the tank that don't get a lot of water flow, sometimes the old uh, decaying matter of the food and the fish detritus and stuff like that will settle around those roots and start nourishing those plants. So you might want to add a little liquid ferts uh, from your local pet store, and hopefully that will help out. I appreciate you working with me and being patient with me and answering the questions that I'm having. I'm probably forgetting something that is very general, but just uh, if you don't have ferts, liquid ferts to add to your aquarium, just start feeding a little heavy for a little while. You might get a little extra algae for a while until things get balanced out. But if you don't want the algae, then just wait for the plants to get established, and start with hardier plants. The stem plants that work well for me are the cryptocorn and the Amazon swords, sometimes chain swords, Vallisneria, Americana can sometimes melt back, but while it's getting established, it'll melt back, and you just clip off any melting part of the plant, and it'll stimulate the roots to grow deeper to get established so that it can give you some new growth, and it'll also shoot uh, um, chains underneath the substrate and start popping up in different places. I've been doing that since I started. My other two tanks are fine. Just my Tetra tank. The fish are just fine. I haven't lost any fish. Good. Paul McCartney says, I do quite large water changes normal, 50% a week, but you have African cichlids, peacocks, and haps, so they are well messy. Yes, Paul, I've heard that cichlids can be very messy, mainly because of the protein foods that they have to have. Um, and of course, when a fish eats, they have to poop. So plecos are known for that, and corridoras. Do you have any bottom dwelling fish, T-bone? Sometimes adding some cories or plecos for the bottom of the tank will help keep the substrate, uh, filtered. Dan says anyone who hasn't kept crypts before and is intimidated by the melting, don't let that scare you off. They are some of the easiest aquarium plants. Yes, I have the Cryptocorn Wendetti. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly or not, but they don't like to be moved once they've been established. But I've put them in different tanks before, and it looked like they weren't going to grow. And then one of the plecos actually came and started digging up underneath of the crypt. And I guess the aeration and stirring nutrients around the root, opening up the roots of the plant began to stand up and start, you know, branching out again. So I want to tell that pleco, thank you, sir. Anna's Hobby says, I agree, Dan. My crypts did great until I moved them. Yeah, until I moved them. My crypts started in a 5-gallon aquarium that used to be a betta tank. My son-in-law gave it to me after his betta passed away, and I lowered the water to like an inch from the bottom, and I brought everything home 2.5 hours down the road. I filled it with my water when I got home, and the plants got so thick in that aquarium, I started separating the crypts and even the anubias that's in there. And the crypts at first did not like to be moved. Matter of fact, they started melting away and dying off in that 5-gallon aquarium. There was one plant I left, and it did die. But those that I moved into other aquariums, they got established. The crypts were growing, 10, 8 to 10 inches and bushing out. And then I separated them and moved a few into my 55. And I do believe I have cryptocorn in the 29, one in the several in the 55, and they're all doing much better. I've sold crypts because they grew so well. It kept me from keeping them for a long time, and I didn't want to deal with the melt, but it's really not so much of a problem as it seems. Yep, it can sometimes do well and sometimes do bad. So they don't like being moved too much. The Wendeti, Winty, like windy, but with a T instead of a D. Winty. Okay, cryptocorn winty. Because I'm saying wind T. Winty. Winty. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. Wonder if I'll remember it. Cryptocorn winty. Let's take some questions now on what would you all like to see. I am not going to be doing Thursday at 4 right now. If I do, it'll be a pre-recorded premiere or something. I'm not doing the Fish Fam Mom and guest. So members and regulars, I ask you at this time, what would you like to see? Would you like to have more species? Would you like to have more problem solving streams? Tonight's going to be, I guess, on growing live plants. And because I discussed death, how you can deal with death in your aquariums, I usually do weekly or bi weekly water changes because uh, I've had the deep substrate and all of my tanks are uh, have live plants in them. So the plants and the don't overfeed, and I do have to get in that 55 eventually and separate plants out. And the water wisteria grew from the back to the front, and so the whole middle front section of my 55-gallon is a wall of water wisteria. Gratitude always. I would like to see Trump floating in your tank. God bless you. And I'm sorry that I read that. So, moderators, you can watch Gratitude Always and let me know. We ask you to behave yourself or you will be blocked. Um, this is a fish community, and sometimes we get trolls. So I've never seen Gratitude Always, and just ask you to keep your eyes open. In my Tiger Barbs tank, I have thin val and elodia plants. Elodia. Um, eyes on it. Thank you, Dan. T-bone. Um, the thin val would be the eel vallisneria, or the mine grow across the top of the aquarium, and they'll grow to be 4 and 5 feet long. So I trim them to the top of the water, which is 21 inches. And I had my whole back wall was nothing but vallisneria. Well, where the water was flowing with the hang on the back, those plants melted and died. But over on the other half of the aquarium where I only had the sponge filter, those plants grew, got established. They grew around the corner and down the side, the right hand side. And anyway, I hope that your vallisneria is doing well for you, T-Bone. Anna's hobbies. Love it. Googly eyes for a day. And it is 7 o'clock. And tonight, I don't know if anybody's going at the 8 o'clock hour, which would be 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Mountain, 5 o'clock Pacific. And I know T-Bone is over in Australia. And good day, mate. Uh, Adios, amigos. This is Susan. Thank you so much for the new member, Captain. I'll get his name here in a minute. Captain Savage Aquatics, Brian, and those that are remaining members. I appreciate you all. Thank you for those that have joined me tonight, and I hope to see you Thursday in some form. Okay, I don't know yet how I'm going to do it. Thank you, Dan Slee. Thank you, mods. Appreciate it. And again, this is Susan for SLC Aquatics, touching lives one fish at a time. Don't forget those articles for our newsletter. Yes, they grow long and thin. Y'all have a good night, and this is my goodbye. Until later. Love you.